What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video where today we are looking at Shadow Hippowdon, which recently gained the move Sand Attack. Sand Attack is a one-turn fast move. It generates 4 energy per turn. It is a clone of Fury Cutter, except it is a ground-type fast move. We're trying out alongside Lickitung and Skarmory, a common core we've come to love and know, maybe not love so much, is the Whiscash Skarmory core, but we're trying out Hippowdon as opposed to the Whiscash with this team. And game number 1, tough lead into the Whiscash. We catch the Scald onto our Skarmory. We're going to try and dance around this game. This team a little bit soft to Whiscash. We don't really have an obvious Whiscash answer, Lickitung being our best Whiscash answer. So after the Feraligatr knocks out our Skarmory, we're going to come in here with Lickitung. Lickitung is going to have a favorable matchup against the Feraligatr, resisting those Shadow Claws. But these Hydro Cannons, as you see, are going to add up rather quickly. So not in a comfortable position by any means. We are overfarming until we're about to get to another Hydro Cannon. So we're forced to throw Body Slam here. Our opponent is going to let it go down. In comes a Dragonair. And now I'm thinking, okay, is there any way out of this? I'm not sure. Go for the Body Slam. Our opponent actually swaps in the Whiscash. I'm going to build up to the Power Whip and go for the Body Slam bait, hoping to grab a shield, and our opponent calls it like an absolute savage. I go for the Body Slam here. At this point, I feel like if I shield, I kind of just lose the game. I had to hope maybe I call a Mud Bomb bait or something, and at this point in the game, this is pretty much over. He still has 2 shields to hide behind, so very well played by the opponent here as we're going to drop this first game. But we're not going to give up just yet. We're down 2 shields, so no way we're going to get to 3 Weather Balls before Dragonair can get to a single Aqua Tail. So that's why we decided to top left there. Well played by the opponent. Let's see if we can come back from the loss with a win here. Diego is the opponent. Hippowdon into Weezing. Here we go. This is a favorable lead for the Hippo. Gonna see Galarian, Weezing. Gonna build up to Scorching Sands. Disco directly for it, actually. This would do a ton of super effective damage. Knocks out the Weezing. In comes Hitmontop, and as much as I want to pivot out to preserve my Hippowdon, I kind of have to stay in, at least for the time being. Excuse me. Okay, I guess no. I guess I get the shield from the bait, and then I dip out into Skarmory. Hitmontop has access to triple axle close combat usually, so we take the first move expecting he might go for triple axle to ramp up his attack stat. Now we're gonna go for the sky attack that grabs the first or the second protect shield, and there's a Shadow Hypno in the back, so we're gonna be able to land the big brave bird. Here we go, big damage onto the Shadow Hypno. It leaves it relatively low here into the red health. It's going to fire off an elemental punch at us, but we're in a comfortable spot. Lickitung just going to lick down. And it's funny here in the early season, you see a range of opponents. That first opponent played extremely well. The second opponent running more of an obscure team, and a pretty comfortable win for us. So you don't see Shadow Hypno too much, or Hitmontop as well for that matter. When you're talking about people that are running the tried and true tested meta picks and such. We catch a little Poliwrath as a reward. And that's going to put us into rank 7. And here we go on to the next set. Oh, looks like we get that glitch. Anybody get this glitch where it like doesn't search? It doesn't like search. It just shows nothing, and then you have to restart your app. Happens to me every so often. Not a huge deal, but forces you to restart the app. And here we go. Next battle. All right. Chow player. Shadow Hippo into a shiny Shadow Dragonair. Very cool. Very sleek. I like it. I'm going to go for the Rock Weather Ball here. And because Shadow Dragonair has super effective Aqua Tail, I may look to dip out. And that's exactly what we do. We dip into Lickitung. Dragonair is staying. I could have thrown my Body Slam instantly, but I didn't want to make it too easy for him to catch, so he eventually swaps into his own Lickitung. Common strategy, right? Chip the Lickitung, dip into your own, and keep alignment against your opponent. We're going to just spam off some body slams here, of course. Licky, 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 can't you see? Hypnotize me. Oh my gosh. We played a hypno the last battle. Licky, can you see something hypnotize me? I don't know. I forget the lyric. And we catch a body slam while banking some energy on our Skarmory. So this is pretty nice. We're dancing around a little bit. We're hoping they don't have a hard answer to Skarm. And what do you know? It's a Lantern. So here's a game where early seas against a higher level player, I would think this game is over. But we're going to play it out just in case we can pull some shenanigans. We go for the Brave Bird, and our opponent actually decides to shield the Brave Bird. I'm not sure why. Because it would be resisted. Lantern could tank it quite well. But they shield the Brave Bird, and now shields are down. And with shields down, this Hippo is going to try to go to town. This Hippo is hungry for a win. He's already gotten a couple wins, but he's hungry for more. It's like Giannis when he won the championship. Like 1 hour later, he's like, I already want to win another. Scorching Sands knocks out the Lantern. Move coming through from D-Nair. I know his Lickitung has a body slam banked, so we're going to anticipate the combo play and swap and catch with our own Lickitung here. Body slam knocks us out. I wasn't confident enough that Rock Weather Ball would knock out. Maybe it would have. But I go for Scorching Sands instead. Not confident enough that Rock Weather Ball would knock out. And now we just got to get to another Weather Ball. Hippo clutching out the victory. Let's go, Hippo. Opponent force closes their app. And that's going to be a G to the G. Probably one of the best wins with the Hippo we were able to sneak away with there. Once again, if the opponent didn't shield the Brave Bird, I think they would have been in a pretty comfortable spot. But sometimes you got to take advantage of what the opponent gives you. And we shall see what happens here. Next battle, searching away. Let me know what you guys are enjoying at this early part of the season from the move updates and such. Hippo versus Annihilate. Not the best lead, not the worst. The counter damage is going to be a lot more oppressive than our Sand Attack damage. He does build up to Ice Punch. I decide, you know what? I'm going to call it. I don't think he has Ice Punch, and we call the Night Slash. That's kind of nice. I go for the Scorching Sands here. Going to try and pull a shield or connect, and we swap into Lickitung. Not the best matchup by any means for Lickitung, but we do deal super effective lick damage, so it's not the worst matchup either. He connects on the Night Slash. I'm building up, and Skarmory comes in. So this is looking pretty rough. All this energy we have built up, not going to do a whole lot against Skarmory. Opponent playing this very well. Licky with his best buddy badge, trying to pull some shenanigans here, spamming off these body slams. And we're able to do enough work here with Licky where hopefully we can manage this Skarmory reasonably. They are forced to throw a move eventually. That's pretty nice. Now they probably only get to one move against our own Skarmory. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I could have gone for maybe a bold Sand Attack down as opposed to Steel Wing down, but then I would have had to shield, so I think either kind of made sense there. What's going to be the back Pokemon? It's a Dragonair, and this is terrific for our Skarmory. And I think our opponent makes a bit of a miscue here. I think if they had swapped immediately into Annihilate, it would have been much better for them. But instead, they wait until I get to double Sky Attack, and then they catch. But here's the thing. The fast move pressure from the Annihilate was more valuable than the fast move pressure coming from this Dragonair. So at this point in the game, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to commit to fast move damage. We get the full Steel Wing down, and we're going to win that game thanks to Skarmory putting on a clinic. Skarmory actually swept the entire team there in the end game, farming down the opposing Skarmory, taking one move, and then beating both the Dragonair and the Annihilate. G to the G. Looks like we're chilling out for a bit. Now we're playing Alex the God. Hippo into a shiny Obstagoon. Very cool. I've always been a big Obstagoon fan. Used it a lot in the earlier days of PvP when it first came out. It was such a good core breaker to Sableye Lickitung, which was on like every team. And we are going to go for the Scorching Sands here. Will we be able to land this through the shield? Yes, we will. Big damage coming. Obviously, I'm going to fire off right away. I decided just to let this go. I'm just going to take a bit of an energy advantage here with my Scarm and hope for the best. I'm also hoping once Licky's out of the way, or sorry, once Goon's out of the way, Licky should be free. Licky is pretty free here. However, this is a very neutral and close matchup, and my Skarmory is going to really struggle against that Alolan Raichu. So we are not out of the woods by any means. I'm going to shield. Want to preserve some health here on Licky. But we need to somehow come out of this matchup healthy enough where we can still deal with that Alolan Raichu. Going for a Body Slam here. We should reach 3 before our opponent gets to the next Sky Attack. So I'm kind of hoping he shields this, to be honest. Because then maybe Skarmory can close. They don't shield, and they get to a move with 1 HP. This is worst case scenario. This is worst case scenario. Now the Raichu is a real threat to just sweep us here behind the Protect shield it still has. I do get to this Body Slam, which may force the final shield. And now I'm thinking, maybe if I can like catch a Thunder Punch here. I don't catch a Thunder Punch, but let's see what the opponent decides to do. Raichu throws Thunder Punch. And this is going to allow us to get to Brave Bird. So this Raichu must have not had Wild Charge. Boom! Brave Bird! It's resisted, but it's such a hard-hitting move. And I think the Raichu must have not had Wild Charge. Otherwise, they simply could have just Wild Charged and then gotten to another Wild Charge or even a Thunder Punch against our Lickitung. So who knows? Maybe they made a miscue there and how much damage the Thunder Punch could do. Maybe they didn't have Wild Charge, but a bit lucky for us to win that game there. They also should have had enough energy for double Thunder Punch, so they could have thrown back to back and then probably still gotten to 1 against our Licky, since our Licky was dry if they were 2 away. Anyway, next opponent, Hippo versus Lickitung. We're sand attacking away, going to go for the hard-hitting Scorching Sands, and we know how devastating a potential Power Whip could be. And just the threat of the Power Whip, right, might force a shield. So we attempt to catch. We're unsuccessful, but we're greeted by a Medicham. And this is not that bad for Lickitung, as we all know. This matchup was super common seasons ago. Medicham now not quite as common anymore. But Lickitung can very much hold its own here. I do respect a potential Dynamic Punch with the shield, but they're running Psychic. But at least we shielded a Psychic. That's not the worst thing in the world. I get a little bit overzealous here. Probably should have just Body Slammed earlier. But I allow him to chip me with Ice Punch first. So perhaps a bit of a mistake. Would have been better to throw the Body Slam before the Ice Punch. They're going to let their Medicham go, but they did get a shield advantage from us, so that's not ideal. I'm expecting his Licky to come back in to absorb this damage, and then check out what happens here. Lickitung versus Lickitung. We know that the Licks are double resisted. We know how bulky these Pokemon are. For some reason, they shielded that first Body Slam, and we actually get to another Body Slam. He's going to come out of this with like 100 energy because he never threw energy at the Hippo either. But we have a Skarmory to absorb all this Body Slam energy. Burst Body Slam, chips. Unfortunately, Azu in the back's a little bit tricky. Azu in the back's a little bit tricky because we can't really use our Hippo here. They go for Ice Beam. And we're going to go for Sky Attack. Chip away. The problem here is the Lickitung has so much energy. If I expend my final shield, I was concerned I simply just get Power Whipped on my Hippo and I lose the game. So I catch, but the catch really doesn't do me that much good either. So now I go for the Sky Attack. Will this force the final shield? It does. But now the Azu's going to get my final shield, and the Lickitung has so much energy, and we're just about in Body Slam range. Opponent makes a nice little combo play during my Steel Wing animation, and is going to win this game. I don't know if I misplayed that, if like maybe if I just stay in. Maybe if I just stay in. If I'm able to beat the Azu and at least force Lickitung to throw a Body Slam, then maybe Hippo gets to a Rock Weather Ball. So I think I might have misplayed that endgame, but it wasn't like the most straightforward endgame. I think there was, it was a bit of a tricky situation. Hippo versus Charjabug, best lead we could ask for, pretty much. they're going to swap Whiscash, and unfortunately, I do not have a great Whiscash answer, so this is already looking kind of rough. This is the most annoying thing, right? You have such a good lead, and then you don't have an answer for the safe swap. If you're wondering why I threw Rock Weather Ball there, me too. The reasoning behind it, right, is if I had stayed any longer, I would have given him the opportunity to throw Scald at my Hippo, in which case I have to go down a shield. But I think my method of settling for Rock Weather Ball there was probably not smart. I think the best thing I should have done would have just been to simply come in Lickitung right away as soon as I saw the Whiscash and try to win that matchup. It's not the most comfortable matchup in my opinion because you get outpaced quite significantly to the Scald and in the Power Whip. But at least we're going to come out of here with a 2-shield advantage, it looks like. Power Whip coming through. So we get a 2-shield advantage. I pivot into Scarm. And was this the right play? Once again, I don't think so. Probably should have just let myself go down. Because that way, if he gave up Switch, I could have locked Hippo back on the Charger Bug. But we go for the Brave Bird. And our opponent gets a little greedy. They get a little greedy trying to farm down, allowing us to get to this Sky Attack. We are debuffed, though. And their own Skarmory comes in and check this out. Gets the perfect farm down before we can even get to a move. And this game is just over, unfortunately. We have no threatening moves for the Skarmory. It has lots of energy. The Whiscash has a ton of energy. I go for a catch, and once the catch is unsuccessful, I'm like, okay, I lose. I lose. Pretty embarrassing loss there with how dominant our opponent was. But sometimes those games happen, and I think it's important to evaluate what you could have done better. If I had greeted the Whiscash right away with my Lickitung, I think that game could have been a lot different. And we would have basically, if we could keep alignment, we would have kept our Hippo on the Charger Bug and then had Skarmory versus Skarmory and should have been primed in a pretty good spot. So pretty badly played game by me in that last one, but we also had some nice wins in there too. So it's important. I struggle with this, but it's important not to beat yourself too much over the losses, because I think that's the way the human mind works sometimes, right? Especially in like big tournaments. I've been fortunate enough to have some big tournament wins, and sometimes you tend to remember the losses more than the wins, that they kind of just fade away. At least for me. Maybe some of you guys can relate with different things and different aspects of life in the comments below. But all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video from the Hungry Hippo. Fun little Pokemon to use. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. All comments are appreciated. They help out the YouTube algorithm, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. All that said, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.